All right, now let's say hello to one of the very best female fighters on the planet. She is a rising star, still a rising star at 135 pounds. She's been very vocal as of late. She wants a shot at Amanda Nunes. Not a lot of people calling out Amanda Nunes right now, but this woman has been calling her out, not just as of late, but over the last few years as well. Of course, she's the Venezuelan vixen. I haven't talked to her in quite some time. She's the one and only Julianna Peña, who did say to me at the very beginning of this little Zoom thing that we do these days before we started recording that she is upset, that she is fired up, that she's afraid that she's going to be dropping F-bombs left and right. And so the natural question is, why are you so fired up, Julianna?
I'm pissed off. I'm frankly offended. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm not surprised though, Ariel. I'm not surprised. Amanda Nunes will absolutely not fight me. And the frustration that I've been dealing with for years over this is getting to the point where I'm ready to punch a hole through the wall. In fact, I have punched a hole through the wall. I'm mad. Like I don't know how else I can say this. This is BS that we cannot get this fight signed and we cannot get this fight done.
Okay, so I appreciate the passion. Why are you mad though? Have you been told the fight is not going to happen?
I have been told, and you guys all saw Dana White, he's trying to make this fight happen. He's trying to get it in the works. It's not Dana's fault. It's not my fault. I'm ready to go. The girl just won. She has not a scratch on her. And I'm making the prediction now. She's absolutely going to find a way to weasel her way out of not fighting me.
Why do you think she doesn't want to fight you?
Because she knows that stylistically I'm the worst matchup for her. She absolutely. Do you remember? Let's go back. Do you remember when she fought Kat Zingano?
Yes.
What happened in that fight?
He lost.
She lost. She curled up in the fetal position, and the referees had to freaking pull Kat off of her. I beat Kat. I just beat the other best wrestler in the division, Sarah McMahon, a silver Olympic wrestler. I am the best wrestler in the division. I'm holding the title for the best wrestler in the division. And she knows that she's going to curl up in the fetal position. She quit in that fight. And she knows she's going to quit again. The ref's going to have to pull me off too. I'm going to put her in those uncomfortable positions. And she's not going to want to fight me. She's going to find a way out of this fight yet again.
And so since Saturday, like since she wins, Dana says what he says that he'd be interested in making this fight. What has happened? Can you have you talked to him? Has your management talked to him? Have your team talked? Like has someone tried to actually reach out to the UFC and say we are ready to go?
I know that my end, we have said we were ready to go. I personally was texting Dana, blowing him up, saying I'm ready to go, and he says we're gonna get it in the works. You heard him say that he wants to. That's the fight to make. He said it from his own mouth. So now I'm just waiting for them to come back and say, yes, we booked a date. We're securing the fight, and this is the fight to make. It's the only one that makes sense, in my opinion.
You were supposed to fight on May 8th against Holly Holm. Why isn't that fight happening anymore?
She pulled out with an injury, and that couldn't have worked any better for me, because at the end of the day, forget about Holly Holm. I want to fight for the title. 135 pounds has not been defended for over a year. If you're not going to fight, then give it up. Get the F out of here and let somebody else fight for it. If she wants to stay fat at 145, do that then. And all these girls that fight at 145 can make 135. I hope you know that. They can make the weight. They just want to be lazy and they don't want to cut. 135 pounds is where the fights are at. No one cares about the 145-pound division. It's dead. It's done. You act like you've cleaned out the division. You haven't cleaned out the division. I'm still here. I'm still standing. And I've been here this entire time.
Yeah, this is incredible. This is one of the all-time great promos that I've heard over the last couple of years. Where's this coming from? Where's this fire coming from?
It's years and years and years and years of built up frustration. It's years of being overlooked. It's years of them trying to tarnish my name, but you weren't tarnishing Megan Anderson's with a record of 2-2 when you were fighting her. You weren't asking Felicia Spencer, you got to win one more before you can fight me, or Holly Holm, who lost to Chris Cyborg and beat Megan Anderson, a 2-2 girl. And then now you're fighting for a title again for the 100th time title fight, Holly Holm. Like literally it's unfair, and it's clear as day to me. She does not want to fight me. She absolutely will not fight me.
So devil's advocate, what do you say to the people who say, wait, Julianna, you're 2-2 in your last 4 fights. Why do you deserve this?
Who else deserves it more than me? Who else has been in the only one standing there who has been able to find a way to still win and calling her out? Who else? If I'm not the fight to make, then who else is?
And so right now, do you get the sense that she's going to say, I want to fight someone else? Or do you get the sense that she's going to say, Julianna, you go fight someone else. You win that fight, then I'll fight you. I just fought. I'm going to take some time off. How do you foresee this playing out from her end?
She's probably going to go run and escape and go say, make the baby as an excuse and do that. But listen, I'm married to this game. I'm married to the fight game. There's nothing else that I do that live, breathe, eat, sleep MMA. And this is what I want. And it's kind of ridiculous. I get it. Yeah, you won. Now you want to go, enjoy the fruits of your labor. I get it. But if you're not going to fight at 135 pounds, and if you have no inkling to want to fight at 135 pounds, then get off the pot. You got to go. You know what I mean? You can't hold up the division forever. I'm still here. I'm ready to fight. And I want to fight Amanda Nunes. And I don't want her to vacate the belt. I do not want her to be able to go away unscathed without fighting me. If she's the GOAT, if she's so great, if she's cleaned out the division, if she's so amazing that, she just, nobody else is worth her time, well, then come clean out the division one more time. I challenge you, Amanda Nunes, to come and fight me. If you think that you're so great, if you're this GOAT girl, this GOAT that curled up in the fetal position and quit in your fight, if you're a GOAT, then fight me and prove it one last time. That's all you got to do, one last time, because I'm the only one that you haven't fought.
It sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, you are supremely confident that you would beat Amanda Nunes.
I am stylistically the worst matchup for her possible. Yes. The girl gasses when she walks up a flight of stairs. I mean, she comes down to 135 pounds. She fights in a 5-round fight. She's going to gas. So it's a terrible matchup for her. She knows it. I know it. The rest of the public doesn't know it. They think that I'm going to get murdered. But if that's the case, and if that's how she feels, then come murder me then. Come murder me. Put your money where your mouth is, tough guy. Let's do this. What's the holdup? What is the holdup, Ariel?
Honestly, I don't know. And I got to be honest, I love everything that you're saying because like I said on Saturday, and it's the same kind of thing with Khabib, you don't see a lot of people saying, I want that guy. And with Amanda, you don't see a lot of people saying, I want that girl, right? You don't see anyone saying what you're saying about Amanda. And for that reason alone, I feel like you should be rewarded. Now, I think that your resume speaks for itself and your last win speaks for itself. But for this reason alone, I feel like they have to make the fight happen. And oh, by the way, as you said, there's no one else out there. Like, what are we going to do? Have her fight someone she just fought already?
You cannot compare Khabib and Amanda Nunes together. You can't even put them in the same sentence. So please don't do that. They are leaps and that's like apples and garlic. That's a comparison that you just made. Okay. No, it's fine. But I mean, don't even group them in the same sentence. It's not the same.
Did you watch her fight on Saturday?
Yes. And it was a joke, just as I suspected.
You were not impressed at all by any of that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
When you watch her fight, these fights are relatively one-sided. How do you see openings? Like against Felicia was one-sided, against Megan, one-sided. Like when you watch her, where do you see the holes?
Ariel, when I fought Valentina Shevchenko, 17-time Muay Thai world champion, like I did you think that her Muay Thai was a problem for me? When I fought Jermaine Durandyman, I had her backing up on the fence, cracking her with big right hands, and she was not wanting any part of that. Was her striking, who's striking is better than Amanda Nunes, a problem for me? You're not going to be able to one-shot me and put me away and think that that's it. That's just not the fighter that I am. And it's been proven. I have been battle tested against the best strikers in the division. And I've still been able to, if you look at the stats, outstrike them. And I've still been able to put them in positions that they don't want to be in. I am losing because I'm thinking so much about fighting Amanda for the title that I'm getting myself caught in a guillotine, but those are small errors. Those are tiny mistakes that I have made that I have changed. My lack of experience in fighting and in combat sports probably reared its ugly head in those two fights. But let's just think about it for a second. I have one loss less than Amanda Nunes, only one in the UFC. Who else can say that? Who else in the division can say that? Nobody. Except me. I've been in the division just as long as her. We started our careers and we've been parallel in this UFC division for the same amount of time. But she will not fight me.
I saw some back and forth stuff with her and Nina a couple months ago saying that like every time they say to you, go win this fight, you lose the fight.
Go win more.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
I say put your girl on a leash and let her handle her own business and let her deal with what she has to deal with and stay out of the big girl conversations, Nina.
Can I ask you, this is just phenomenal. And I know you're not putting it like, I feel the passion. I feel the frustration. I think people can get behind this because you feel like you need this opportunity. You feel confident that you could take down the GOAT, quote unquote, in many people's eyes. And I'd love to see, you're selling me, and I think you'll be selling a lot of people when they hear this. Can I ask you about the Jermaine fight? You were out for a year and 4 months or so by the time that fight happened. Did you feel like that was a ring rust issue? Did you feel like you did a technical mistake that led to the submission? How do you look back on that fight now?
I made a technical error. When I was supposed to fight Amanda a long time ago, they told me, no, you got to fight one more. You got to fight Valentina. And I had two options: sit and wait because there was nothing else going on, or fight Valentina. And I chose to fight Valentina, and that was probably an error on my part, because I guarantee you, if I probably would have just sat, they probably would have offered me the Amanda fight back then. But I chose to fight the number one girl in the world at the time, and I took an L on that one. I was hurrying in the fight, and I was going too fast when I should have been being more calculated on the ground, and taking into consideration that all these fighters are well-versed everywhere, including the ground, regardless if they're a 17-time Muay Thai world champion. With that being said, again, they told me that I needed to, beating former world champion Nico Montano, who just, won 5 in a row, is not good enough for Amanda Nunes. You need to fight Germaine de Randamie, number one girl in the world at the time. Okay. So I go and I fight Germaine, and I was a minute and a half away from winning that fight. When I watched Germaine fighting Amanda, I saw she had Amanda caught a few times, and she was in trouble with her submission game, but she didn't have it quite down. So again, I'm thinking, I have this fight won, and I was hurrying to try to take her down. And I obviously was not taking into consideration at all that she was going to try to pull for a guillotine. And it wasn't even a normal guillotine. It was a prayer choke, which is a lot different. The pass is different on a prayer choke than it is a normal guillotine. And me, being a stubborn mule, was trying to shoulder pressure out of it. And you cannot shoulder pressure out of that type of a prayer choke. So those are learning experiences. If you think about it, my combat sports experience happened at 19 years old when I threw my very first punch, and all of my fights have been in just MMA, And so I think that, with time and with fighting the number one girl in the world, Valentina, at the time, and fighting the number one girl in the world, Germaine, at the time, that my experience in fighting these number one girls in the world gives me the confidence to know that I can hang with the best in the world. And if they are saying that Amanda Nunes is the best in the world, then I would like to challenge that. And I would like to say that I have now learned from my mistakes. I have been going up in my trajectory as far as peaking in my career, and I'm ready to fight and test myself against the GOAT, which is just ridiculous to me. The GOAT, who curled up in the fetal position and had to have the ref save her. Like, God, like, wow, really.
So she has won 12 in a row since that Katzengano fight. Do you not see a vast improvement in her game today compared to back then?
Everybody's improving, including me. I've been improving, and I have improved since Germaine, and I've improved since Valentina. So we've all been improving, and we've all had mistakes in the octagon. No, it's never going to go perfectly. It's never going to go the exact way that you plan. I can't 110% guarantee victory, but what I can 110% guarantee is that she is going to be in a fist fight. She's going to be put in uncomfortable positions, and I am going to make it the worst night of her life. That's what I can guarantee.
In your opinion, is Amanda Nunes overrated?
I definitely think that she's overrated, and I definitely think that the public makes me underrated. They always want to count me out. They always want to act like I'm just some big joke. Okay, well, if I'm some big joke, then come prove it to me. Come prove how big of a joke I am.
You feel disrespected. Enough is enough. Put some respect on your name, for God's sakes.
Yes, I mean, how many times? Put some respect on my name, literally.
I love it.
But she's not going to do it, Ariel. She's not going to do it.
You don't think this fight happens?
No way. No way.
What do you think happens? Do you think the UFC comes to you and offers you someone else, or are you going to wait for her? How do you see this playing out?
Yeah, no, they're definitely going to say, go fight somebody else. One more, go one more, one more. You got to fight one more.
Why don't you say no? Why don't you say no? I'm not fighting one more. I paid my dues. Ultimate Fighter champion. I've done everything you've asked. I fought the best of the best. There's no one for her to fight. No more one more.
Yeah, I mean, when I won the Ultimate Fighter, and then when I came and won 3 more after that at 7-0, it still wasn't good enough for her. It still wasn't good enough for her. When I beat, former world champion Nico Montano, when I beat Sarah McMahon, it still wasn't enough for her. It's a one more, go fight one more. I mean, it's clear as day to me this girl doesn't want to fight, and she's not going to fight now. She didn't want to fight back then. She doesn't want to fight now. And you know what? We'll give them some credit. Way to be smart on your part to only be fighting strikers for these last fights that you've been winning. training and making sure that you don't have a rough night in the office with a grappler, the best wrestler in the division, which is me. You know, she's smart. She wants to hold on to her belt forever. And I don't frankly blame her. But if you're the best and if you're the champion and if you think that you're the best, then why don't you go test your skills up to somebody else against somebody who also thinks that they're the best? And that is me.
But to be clear, the UFC brass is telling you they want to make this fight happen?
Dana told me that they were going to work on it. And he also told the public that they were going to work on it. So it's not Dana. It's not Dana. It's Amanda, 110%. It's Amanda and her very, very smart management team.
Perfect world for you. Let's say you can call the shots. When would you like to see this fight happen?
How great would it be to fight both two moms on Mother's Day? You walked away unscathed. Why don't you want to fight finally defend your title at 135 on Mother's Day? You have enough time. You can make the weight. You just got out of a camp. I need a fight. Two moms fighting on Mother's Day. How inspiring for all these little girls and these moms that could be watching this fight and potentially be inspiring, you know, the next generation. What an inspiration. What perfect timing.
That is lovely. I love that. So Mother's Day typically is like the second weekend of May, right? On a Sunday, but you're saying on the Saturday, right?
The fight would be May 8th and the next day is Mother's Day.
Beautiful.
Yeah, winner gets to keep your kid.
I don't know about that, but I love the stipulation. Have you been watching a lot of pro wrestling lately? Because this is like right up that alley.
Yeah, I'm the cream of the crop, Ariel. Then the cream shall rise.
When you envision the fight, let me ask you, how does it play out? I'm sure you've thought about it a lot.
Look, it's going to be ugly. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be the most beautiful fight that you've ever seen. I'll win some rounds. I'm going to lose some rounds. But at the end of the day, her cardio will catch up to her, especially when she knows that she's weak at 135 and that she gets tired at 135. And I will be able to put her in positions, put her on her back. I'll be able to pass, choke her out. I'll ground and pound her. I will stand on the feet with her if I have to, because I'm not that threatened on the feet as well. As I said before, I stood with the best girls, the best strikers in the division, and I did just fine. I'm not shying away anywhere, any facet of the fight, whether it's on the feet, on the cage, on the ground. We can dance however you want, wherever you want. Just let's secure this fight and let's make this fight happen.
Okay, last thing. She'll probably see this. What's the message to Amanda?
Fight me. Fight me. If you're the GOAT, if you're so amazing, if you think that you're the best, and if you think that you've truly cleaned out the division, well, there's one girl still standing that you have not cleared out. There's one girl that you still have not cleaned. So come clean me. Come fight me. Put your money where your mouth is. If you're the best, then prove it. Prove it. Fight me. What are you afraid of if you're the best? What are you afraid of? Honestly, if you're the best, what are you afraid of? What's the holdup? I don't understand what the holdup is. Let's do this. Let's give the fans what they want and come shut my mouth.
I love it. Well done, Julianna Peña. Tremendous stuff. One of the all-time great promos. I really appreciate it. And I know it comes from the heart. I know it's genuine. I'm sorry you're feeling this way. I hope that you get what you want. I hope that you get that fight. For whatever it's worth, I'm on board.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, then turn to your media friends and let's freaking make this thing happen.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.